Morning, morning, everyone. Here we are back, and it's my great pleasure to introduce Joe from New Zealand. And Joe, give us your lovely introduction, please.
Kia ora koutou. Te Manga, the Appalachian Mountains. Te Awa is the Susquehanna River. So that is my mountains. My mountains are the Appalachian Mountains in western Pennsylvania. The river closest to my home was the Susquehanna River. The kayak, I had a kayak that I left home with when I was 17, and I named that Cayetana. Um, my family is from Italy that immigrated to the United States, and so my grandfather's Italian, my grandparents are Italian. I have 13 brothers and sisters. I'm one of 14. I left home when I was 17. I kayaked down the Susquehanna River into the Chesapeake Bay and then to Florida. Got on a sailboat, sailed to Europe, and then sailed the Pacific. So I did that for about 8 years until I found a girl, settled down, went to university in Florida, studied civil engineering. I worked there for about 9 years, had two beautiful children, and then had an opportunity to move on a boat. Same boat we sailed. I sailed to Europe when I was 17, moved took my family, moved to the Caribbean, and lived in the Caribbean for 10 years. Our kids grew up there. I was lucky enough to find work as an engineer there. And then 2007 had the opportunity to come to New Zealand. Our kids, I have a daughter who's an emergency room nurse, and our son is an electrical engineer. My wife is Janie, she's a teacher, and my name is Joe.
Well, Joe, thank you for that great background. And currently in New Zealand, you're part of a team that came across the FMA conference from New Plymouth, is it? So no,
Well, there's a few New Zealanders came, but I'm based in Whangarei, which is about 3 hours north of Auckland.
But sorry, the name of the regional council you work for is?
Oh, it's called the Northland Regional Council. Yeah.
Okay. No, Plymouth, I'm getting mixed up with my WOMAD fascination in New
That's
Zealand.
all right.
But hey, Joe, tell us what do you do at the council there?
Yeah, so my role is the Rivers and Natural Hazards Manager. And so we're tasked with, our team is tasked with basically reducing flood risk throughout Northland. So that starts with flood mapping, trying to understand the flood risk and trying to avoid future, building in flood prone areas. So that's in the future tense. And then presently, of course, like many cities around the world, we have existing flood risk. And what can we do to reduce the towns and villages that are built on floodplains? Yeah.
Right. So because it's sort of a mixture, not huge regional centers, I don't think from memory, but sort of a mixture of sort of regional and rural type of setting, I imagine.
That's correct. It's Whangarei, the city that I'm based in, is about 40,000 people, but then the whole region is about 150,000. So yeah, it's a big center here.
Right.
So once you drive north, it's the last stoplight. Yeah.
Lovely. No, that sounds good. But Joe, tell us to do your job. What's some of the skills? What do you think is one or two key skills that you bring to your role that you're proud of?
Yeah, I guess mainly we work primarily in very poor Maori communities, and so it's really that listening and um, gaining the respect, or what we'd say in New Zealand, the mana. The mana of the people. So once you gain the respect and because they've lived through generations of this of flooding, and if you can gain the respect and then bring the science to it, and uh, that's 90% of the battle is, but I guess you'd say you mend emotional bridges because there's certainly a lot of emotional scars with the crown and so you mending emotional bridges before you can build bridges. Hmm.
Fantastic. No, look, I reckon it's a great yeah, that those interpersonal relationships and that empathy that you're showing, it's yeah, that's quite remarkable. But Joe, and the sort of work that you do, what is it that gives you the satisfaction from that work?
I mean, when you're traveling through Northland and these small Maori communities that are quite poor, and you sometimes the fix or in some ways in many cases it's man-made. We worked in a community just north of Whangarei, Otiria, and the roads and railroads were what was causing flooding to the and in our very first meeting, one of the Kamato, or one of the chiefs, came and he drew it on a blackboard saying all the water wants to go this way, the roads and railroads are pushing it through town. And so we didn't know the catchment well at all, but once we started studying it, we removed the roads and railroads in our flood model and then had a pre-human flood flow. And then basically we just tried to mimic Mother Nature. And we were just putting numbers to what the chief and the elders in the community knew already.
What a great example of co-design. That's got to be a really satisfying experience, I imagine.
That was because we had an opportunity to restore Mother Nature, or Tamana o Tawai, so the spirit of the river. We were able to let the river go back where it wanted to go, and
Yeah,
yeah, and everybody, then you have a happy town and a happy river. Yeah,
the river. Wow, what a great outcome. Joe, thanks very much for that.
yeah. Thank you.